How many mysteries are in the SAO Alicization opening? So what's up guys, Foxen here. Time for an in-depth analysis and breakdown on the newest SAO Season 3 opening. There will be minor spoilers, although I will avoid major plot points. So let's go ahead and get started. At the start you have the nice shot of the 3D spinning swords, along with the text, Project Alicization. Alicization is the name of the Season 3 arc, and you just found out what Rath itself is working on is called Project Alicization. For the actual swords, first off you have the Blue Rose Sword. You've already seen this beautiful thing since the first episode. Specifically, this Blue Rose Sword is a weapon that Eugeo not only wields later, but Eugeo is the owner of. I mean, he did find it after all. Then the Black Sword, the Night Sky Sword. Naturally, Kirito needs his own weapon, so of course he goes for a dark weapon. It actually matches Kirito's past sword that a boss dropped in SAO. By the way, Kirito's Black Sword is actually a slightly higher authority than Eugeo's weapon by 1. As for a small but important detail about the two blades spinning, Kirito in the novel mentioned he felt the swords were parallel to one another. Kirito further mentioned how he felt this bond with his weapon as if it was an extension of himself. And by the way, don't forget the text, beginning. That's actually the title of the first light novel for this arc. There's beginning, followed by running, and so on. You then got the shot of young Alice and Integrity Knight Alice in between the blades. This could represent the thoughts and determination from each one of them to find the lost Alice. At the same time, neither of them is actually aware that Alice has already been upgraded into becoming this Integrity Knight. Next up, the trio in this strong sunlight. The background here actually resembles the sky when Aincrad was being destroyed. Kirito has even mentioned how the sunset in the underworld reminds him of the floating castle. This is then followed by the trio running in the fields. At this point, you got in a good sense of how close these three were in the past. Both this and the previous bright image are actually references to this art shot from the novel. Kirito originally saw this picture as his past memory when he first woke up in the underworld on the second episode. For the anime version, you now see this young Eugeo and young Alice running together, then slowly turning back at Kirito. Next shot up, some construction in the woods. This little area being set up should be the first humans in the underworld. Specifically, they're the 4 Rath volunteers that logged into the underworld and were given Flood-like clones to raise. To the side, you see a young Kirito as his development is rapidly progressing. The following shot is then more construction, but for a different location. This is in fact the starting village Rulet being built. You could even spot the church in the middle. Then finally you have the central city Centauria being built as well. At the center of it you have the Axiom Church White Tower. You heard about them creating the Taboo Index. The leader and Integrity Knights actually live in this White Tower. More on them later. All around this area you also have the 4 different sections representing the 4 empires of the human world. The rulers of these empires even have their castle or headquarters close to the Axiom Church. Naturally, the more wealthy and nobles live closer to the center. You're gonna find out more about these people living here as Eugeo and Kirito continue on their journey. Altogether, you then have the trio. Kirito was shown at the starting point. Of course, he's very important to this whole project. The whole thing wouldn't have even been possible if Kirito chose not to release a world seed. Young Eugeo of course has his close connection to the Rulet village. Then the young Alice. Ironically, Alice actually has a closer connection to the center city years later. Or should I say only connection. Sadly for Eugeo, he lost both of his best buddies. In the case of Kirito, he didn't even recall losing him. How tragic is that? Then you see Eugeo running and falling into some water. Water is actually often used to depict someone being lost. In the case of Eugeo, he is lost, he tries to run away, but he still ends up getting engulfed. Since Eugeo falls down, it may symbolize the grip that the Axiom Church has over Eugeo's life. This all leads him to Eugeo's lovely red Gyasai. But no, really. The Taboo Index is taking hold and actually restricting Eugeo. Inside of his eye, you see the word System Alert 871. This is specifically the number corresponding to the Taboo Index. There is a deeper meaning behind this, and that'll be revealed by the end of this season. Next up, the rising shot of the Axiom Church. From this, you're able to see the mountain range and pretty much everything from this view. The leader of this Axiom Church partly built this 100-floor tower for this very reason. Ironically, the ones that have this god's bird's eye view of everything are Kiku and Higa. Perhaps these guys running Project Alicization within Rath are gods themselves for this world. I mean, from this room, they could do pretty illegal NSA type of stuff. A bit creepy if you think about it. On screen, do notice the text, Flood-like Simulation Underworld. I think at this point it's far past a simulation. Next up, main character Klein. If only. As he's seen so far, Klein has gotten his upgrade role for Season 3. Do notice behind him the weapon resembling his Japanese blade. Following Klein, you got Suguha. A good chunk of you have actually been mentioning being sad that some of the girls went flat this season. I'm sure that'll be back, I guess. Either way, similar to Klein, Suguha is next to Lifa's signature weapon. Next up, the lovely Silica and Liz. Both of them have gotten an upgrade similar to Klein. They're now fully integrated into the Season 3 roller coaster. Originally, Asuna chose not to tell either of them about Kirito being assaulted. By the way, both of them near their weapons too. You got Silica's dagger behind her, and Liz has her blacksmith's hammer. Finally, you have Shinan sporting some green glasses and a necklace. Shinan has always been involved in this arc from the very start, so no surprise with her being here. Naturally, she's next to one of her arrows instead of a sniper. Ooh, foreshadowing. Then from above, you got this distant shot of this platform in the ocean. You've been introduced to this as the ocean turtle that houses Rath and Project Alicization. So many secrets to develop this bottom-up AI. This is then followed up by the Asuna shot of her taking off her shades. This is Agent 006 Asuna, the one who successfully infiltrated the ocean turtle. Let's just hope Kiku isn't too pissed off about that. And better get cozy, this ocean turtle will be home for a while. Following Asuna is a lovely laughing coffin symbol. Unfortunately, Asuna and Kirito just can't seem to escape their past. This laughing coffin guy is actually Po, also known as the leader of Laughing Coffin. You saw him watching over Kirito, Asuna, and the rest of the Eugeo guys. This guy has always been in the background since the SAO days. Laughing Coffin in general will play a huge role throughout the season. I mean, you already know about Kirito being stuck in the underworld due to one of these lovely guys. Next up, this nudist on this huge bed. So this is actually the princess that Eugeo and Kirito gotta rescue. Only then can the underworld be saved. Or rather, just kidding. This whole room is actually inside of the Axiom Church. On floor 100, you'll find this nudist lady that loves this bed. She goes by many names, one of which is the admin. For reasons you'll discover, she spends most of her time locked up in this room and sleeping away. I'll definitely have a full video on her later on. Next up, one of the light cubes that stores each floodlight. This one should be the one specifically housing Alice. Interesting number 2 by the way, around 180,000. I mentioned in my last video about there being a physical limit to life in the underworld. I gotta double check, but it was actually around 200,000. I'll definitely be having a full video on the underworld too. Very nicely, this switches over to Alice. At this point, it's Integrity Knight Alice. So far, they're really not hiding the fact that Alice is alive. And on top of that, a knight. This includes most of the promotion shots of Alice too. In case you're wondering why Alice became a knight, you'll slowly discover the dark secret soon enough. Next up, a picture of the great creators, the whole Shigemura crew. Up in front, you have Dr. Shigemura in the chair. This of course being Yuna's father from the Ordinal Scale movie. You also did see Kiku showing him Rath at the end of the movie. So I do wonder if he'll show up eventually, and I do hope so. Next to him on the right you have Higa, and on the top right you have Kayaba and the newly introduced Rinko. Over on the top left you have the slimy Sugo. Let's just hope this bastard stays in jail. From the two guys left over, you have two original characters. It also looks like this picture could have been cut off since you see someone's shoulder on the left. Perhaps these other guys will get fleshed out later in season 3. Next up, the SAO Server from the Ordinal Scale movie. When I visited the A1 studio, the director Ito actually mentioned this was modeled after the IBM servers. I'm pretty sure that IBM even sponsored part of the movie. As for the lovers, you got the younger Kayaba and Rinko. Aw, so sweet. You know about these two being very close in the past, although it definitely felt more one-sided. Perhaps Kayaba did feel some love, although big castles in the sky excited him that much more. It almost seemed like Kayaba was thinking or looking over at the monitor of the Einkreit castle. This should have been the early development of it. Next up, a digital baby being born in the underworld. This is most likely one of the Floodlight clones for the initial experiment. Then you got Higa resting his eyes a bit. Creating killer AI is hard work. Do notice on the monitor in the back you can see 6 Floodlights being displayed. The numbers here range from 3,000 to 7,000. This suggests it's very early on in the underworld development. And of course, we were waiting for the cheese pizza shot of Yui. Yui herself is a top-down AI, possibly the most advanced known one in the world. Take that, Alexa. Displayed here is Yui going through some sort of security wall. Thankfully, Yui is still around playing some major support for our heroes. Next up, Kayaba and Dr. Shigemura. Interesting how one of these developed a way to enter a new reality, while the professor made this device to turn reality into the VR setting. Next up, Yuna makes a cameo return. This whole place actually looks like the Shibuya area in Tokyo, Japan. Definitely loving the movie references by the way. Hopefully Yuna makes a return too. Then you got the money shot of Eugeo and Kirito wielding their beloved blades. This must be at the Sword Mastery Academy, which is a little weird since they pretty much cut out references to this in the anime. This place is just one step in the road to becoming full knights. This leads into Eugeo and Kirito taking on this integrity knight from the first episode. And I'm just gonna come out and say it, very nice fan service. Unfortunately, this particular set of events doesn't play out like this. Either way, it does hint at Kirito and Eugeo battling these knights later on. And I just got this huge smile on my face thinking about it. Come on A1 Studio, please do this right. These upcoming battles could be some of the best fights in anime history depending on how they do it. So please A1 Studio, do them some justice. Next up, the 4 swordsmen in this training ground area. Starting with the purple clothing one, this young lady is Sortilinia. Kirito actually serves under her during his first year at the academy. As for the green fella, this is Gorgoloso. Eugeo is the one that served under him. Then you got the other 2 girls, Roni and Tise. Both of them serve as Eugeo and Kirito's own interns on the second year. You'll get to know all 4 of these characters in good depth on the first half of season 3. Now for this library shot with the young looking girl. This great library behind her actually holds the entire history of the UnderWorld. It's located pretty close to the Axiom Church. As for the girl herself, this is in fact Cardinal. Yeah, Cardinal. The SAO system that Kirito and Asuna were fighting against all this time was actually a small girl. And she's pretty interesting too. Definitely can't wait to meet her in the anime. Following Cardinal, you see Kirito in this garden area. This should either be the garden at the Swordsman Academy or the special one in the Axiom Church. And this is very nice, you get a shot of the very special the Philia Flower. This will be very important to Kirito this season. And talking about Kirito, you got the best buddies doing that handshake. This was definitely something original added for the season 3 anime. The novel didn't mention any special handshake, although this does help demonstrate their close bond. This actual scene right here should be them leaving towards the next village. Do notice Kirito here is carrying the strongest branch of the Gigas tree. If it isn't completely obvious already, that'll later become Kirito's black sword. Next up, some mysterious building. This in fact could be the Axiom Church when it was in its early stages. Later on, you'll find out how the admin keeps on making the tower taller and taller every couple of years. Within here is a painting showing some important underworld history. You see the 3 goddesses fighting against the darkness. They're the goddess of earth, Terraria, the goddess of sun, Solus, and the goddess of creation, Stacia. The story here shows them driving away the goddess of darkness, Vecta. The novel mentioned this being inside the admin's room, but several cities have something similar. Finally, Eugeo and Kirito putting their blades away, and moving away from their starting point. Behind them you have the young trio in the background, so time to begin this adventure. And by the way, a little bit of a bonus. From one of the season 3 promos, you see Eugeo and Kirito wielding their weapons. In the middle, you also have Alice with a shining golden chain. Just so you know, that's not really Alice getting chained up, that's a chain that Alice herself made. Integrity Knights like Alice could easily make great items like chains no problem. Anyway, definitely hope you enjoyed this in-depth breakdown. Do hit that like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I will be doing more in-depth videos like this one for other Underworld mysteries, maybe bi-weekly. Definitely planning to do one on the Underworld, all the knights, and the admin. But anyway, let me hear from you now. Question of the day. Were you surprised by anything in the opening? And what's been the biggest surprise from season 3 so far? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up and subscribe. If you're new to that channel, I put out 5+ anime videos here every week. That now includes juicy SAO videos. And don't forget weekly Attack on Titan videos too. Don't miss out on my latest in-depth breakdown on all the Titan powers. Make sure to hit bell notifications, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.